like some of the main questions like we've gotten from people in general, like even just telling people, oh, we're building a boat, you know, when they look at you like you got 3 heads, and then they ask you, or they ask you why.
We are finally getting around to doing our Q&A video. It's
Yes.
a couple months late, but good things come to those who wait. I'm just going to get into it.
Yeah, first question. I forget who asked it, but no, we were not sponsored by any beer companies yet. It's, you know, we've been waiting and nobody's reached out. You know, the local breweries really just don't want to sponsor us because, you know, we're not popular enough or something. So, but thanks for asking. We appreciate that question.
I don't think many people are sponsored by beer companies, to be completely honest.
Quick disclaimer, we are having thunderstorms and Max is barking at the thunder, so if you hear him in the background, please excuse him. Down, good boy. Alright.
Okay. The first real question is from Wood Canvas Fiberglass. How do we translate the plans into cut lines on the panels?
When we purchased our plans from Spirited Designs in Australia, he sent over the full prints. Everything's in metric. Everything has reference lines from either designed waterline or center point of hulls. From there, like, the dimensions are all there for us. There's not really any what do they call that, lofting per se. We basically like roughed out our panels, fiberglassed everything rough and oversized, and then our final panels we would mark out the center lines or the design water line and measure from there up using squares and all that. It really was pretty simple when it was all said and done.
We just had to check our marks like 5 times just to make sure.
Well, the metric to imperial conversions, you know, it's something to get used to anyway, being from the U.S.
Yay,
so.
the U.S. Woo!
Yeah, gotta do everything
different,
backwards.
Wood Canvas Fiberglass had another question. He said, what kind of motors are we going with? A few people have asked this question, so what are we doing? We're leaning towards Yamaha 70s.
4 strokes. In the general area, we've priced out Yamaha, Mercury, Honda, and Evinrude is no more. But they're all give or take like $1,000 for 2 motors. So Yamaha seems to be the most readily available for parts around here.
$1,000 difference.
Yeah, $1,000 difference between.
Yeah,
that's overall price, $1,000.
Yep.
The parts seem to be more readily available in the Northeast where we're at for Yamaha. I know the more south you go, I believe Honda is more prevalent down there. So for our area and our kind of demographic here, that's kind of why we're leaning towards the Yamahas.
Next question is from your Uncle Sean. He said, have you thought of using solar for your electricity on the boat? Yes. We actually have purchased 2 solar panels. They're the flexible, flat ones that can go right on.
Yeah, they can bend up to,
cabin.
I believe, 5 degrees on the curvature. They're 100 watts apiece. We're planning to go lithium ion with that. It will be a little bit of an expense. And that will primarily run our house batteries. There'll be 2 separate battery banks. One for the house batteries, which will run lights, air conditioners, TV, radios, like all of the accessories basically. And then there'll be a separate battery bank, which will be charged through the solar charger converter there. But those will primarily be for starting batteries on the motors.
The next one that we have, that's a very common question if you've just kind of skipped around and not watched chronologically like a lot of our new followers. Welcome, by the way.
Thanks for subscribing.
What kind of foam are we using? Divinycell H80.
Yep.
It looks completely different than what we see Ross from Life on the Hull's using. I don't know why. We cannot figure this out, but it is Divinycell H80.
Yep. The density, I believe, is 5-pound density. It's a PVC foam Divinicel is the manufacturer.
It's not perforated.
Yeah,
either.
the foam that we see on YouTube a lot of times overseas, whether it be the UK, Australia, most of the Divinicel foam they show is perforated. Here in the US, we've ordered the same foam multiple times now, and every time it's non-perforated, but it's pretty porous, so it actually absorbs the resin a little bit. So maybe it's just a different chemical compound or something. Again, we're not quite sure on that.
The next question is from Errol. He said, any idea what the design weight of the boat is, excluding the motors?
I'm not sure excluding the motors. There was a gentleman, he's on Tumblr by the name of Amardilly. He was out of Australia, and he built the identical boat to ours with the original print. So it's actually a 23 foot, not a 25. We extended our plans. Finished with motors. I believe his vessel was, I want to say, right around 4,000 pounds, 4,500 pounds. With motors, a half a tank of fuel, half a tank of water. That's usually how you weigh your boat. So somewhere, right around, I want to say ours should be somewhere right around that weight. We did add 2 feet, but we're using a foam core as opposed to the balsa core he used. So we should be slightly lighter with the overall materials. So hopefully, like I say, we're right around 4,000 pounds, 4,500 pounds fully loaded.
We'll have to can we get a weight?
Yeah.
We can? An official
Yeah,
weight?
yeah, I'll get an official weight when we're done building.
Cool.
It's hard to do right now.
Yeah. That was actually another question Emily was asking. Emily's dad was asking that too.
What's that?
The weight.
The
like
official
what
weight.
it weighs right now. Like what we think it weighs right now.
Right now, if I had to guess weight-wise, we would probably be somewhere around 1,500 pounds. I could do the math out and add up all the foam sheets, how much resin we've used, how much glass we've used.
Oh, that was another thing. It's not written on here. We, not too long ago, did a video and we said how many gallons of resin do you think we've used? And we just did a rough total, and it's how much?
Oh, it's pretty accurate, give or take, what we have still in stock. But overall, I've ordered 102 gallons of resin so far. I still have 6 gallons in storage downstairs, and then we have 1 kit open with probably, 4 gallons in there, with the hardener. So I'm figuring we're somewhere around 87 gallons we've used to this point. That's, obviously all the fiberglassing on the panels, doing all the joints. We wasted quite a bit. Especially with the learning curve, we always mix extra because we didn't want to come up too short.
Yeah.
So we probably wasted a couple of gallons, by the time we add it all up. And the messes we've made, we've probably wasted a couple gallons on that too.
Yeah.
But we have processed anyway, mixed, put out somewhere in the vicinity of 87 gallons at this point.
That's a lot.
And it has all been Total Boat, by the way.
Yes.
We like their resin.
2 to 1.
They've been very helpful to us so far. Check them out. Use our code at checkout.
It's in the description. It's a rotating code, so you have to check to see what the most recent one is.
Yep.
Oh, Errol also wants to know why we're using anti-fouling paint below the water line. Well, that's because we're going to be keeping it in the water at a marina for the entire season. It's just what we do around here. We're not taking it off the trailer and on the trailer all the time.
Yeah, I don't want to transport every week to go to the water. We're definitely going to get a slip. There are different types of anti-fouling paint. We'll get into that in another episode. We are only seasonal here in New England. The winters is just too cold to keep it in the water, so.
Yeah. Boo. The next ones are from my grandma.
Oh, cool.
Where are we building it? Well, Grandma, we're here in New England with you. We're building it next to our house.
Yep.
Our neighbors love us. How much longer do we have to go? Well, a lot of people actually have asked this one. We don't really know.
We're shooting for sometime next year, hopefully.
2022.
The fairing process has been tripping us up quite a bit, and we'll get a little bit more into that in a few minutes here. But we were shooting for midsummer of 2022, making it right around a 2-year build.
She also asked how many hours do we think we have into it so far, and we actually do keep track of that.
I have a dog on me.
It's okay.
Can't get my phone. I'll come back to that question in a few minutes.
Okay.
Alright, so I have this broken down into total hours for everything, including building the boathouse. I mean everything. The boathouse, the box build, which is an educational thing.
I want to make a comment here.
Go ahead.
We get more views and comments on our first 3 videos that has nothing to do with the boat build.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
That was your rant?
Yeah.
Alright. So again, this isn't taking into account the endless hours of research we've done. So many hours of editing and sorting through video. Cassie does almost all of that.
All of it. He's done one video.
I've done one video.
One video.
It's harder than it looks. It definitely is way harder than it looks. So total build hours to date, we are at 929.5 hours between the two of us, and that's strictly building stuff, whether it be the boathouse, the box build, reapplying the plastic on the boathouse when the first plastic failed. That's all added into there. I did also break it down into boat build hours. So from the day we picked up our materials on July 13th, 2020, we are into the boat build for 695.5 hours. And just for laughs, 184 hours of that so far have been fairing and sanding. That is to include sanding. We did make a mess a couple times when we were fiberglassing, and the resin dripped down. We had to sand all that off. So that does include that, but 184 hours of sanding and fairing.
Yuck.
So yeah, it kind of breaks it down a little bit, and I am keeping a detailed track on what the job title was, how many hours, all that stuff, But yeah. And again, if you double that number, you're probably more close with the research and the backgrounds and the editing and the filming and.
Fairing and sanding is like a third right now of what we're doing.
I told you it was up there.
And she wanted to know how long we've been doing this. Putting the actual hull together September 2020, but we got our materials and started making our panels in mid-July last year, 2020.
But prior to that, I mean, if you add in all the research and getting all the quotes for materials and stuff, we actually started like the whole process of purchasing prints in November of 2019.
So thanks, Grandma. Hi. Multiple people have asked this. How are we going to flip the hull? The most recent person to ask was Andrew. He said, will you need to take down your boat shed and hire a crane to flip the boat? Or do you have some other ingenious plan? You want to talk about your ingenious plan?
I can. Alright, so basically we're going to build a double gantry crane out of regular timber framing, basically 4x4s, 2x6s, and we will ultimately saddle the boat in a endless loop strap. We'll hoist it up, we'll jack it up, however we have to get it off the platform that it's sitting on. We'll get it resting in the straps, and we'll probably use some sort of a mechanical fixture to help pull it, but it should theoretically roll right inside the straps. And we're going to get a lot more into that. I'm going to do the full build video on the gantry cranes. We'll do it out on site just to kind of give everybody a better idea how we're going to do it. If all goes well, we should not have to remove our structure, our boathouse tent. Theoretically, we should have just enough room to roll the boat in place. It should be fairly easy to jack it up, spin it, and set it right back down in place on the bench.
Are we doing it on the bench or in their cradles?
It'll be in the cradles, but I'm gonna leave everything on the bench. The bench is already leveled. It's on blocks. It's pretty secure where it is. So if we don't have to mess with anything there, it should be a matter of basically flipping it over.
Oh.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. You good boy. You good boy. Don't mind the thunderstorm in the
I
background.
saw that lightning and it like
that.
scared me.
I saw the flash. If all goes well, like I said, we won't have to touch the bench at all. Our level platform will stay just as is. And the build cradles that were actually laid out in the prints for us, it tells us what bulkheads to put them at and everything. The finished hull should set right in those, and it should stay level. So we'll be able to put all our floors in level. At that point, our soles will all be level. Bulkheads will be level and plumb. Yeah. So, and again, I'll do a whole nother video on the build frame.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a separate video on the flip alone. That might be just like an hour-long episode, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully.
definitely stay tuned for that. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. These were like general questions that we get like in person all the time. Like, are you still like motivated? Like, what's your mental status? And are you still excited about it? Yes, still excited about it, obviously. What's your mental status?
I'm good. We've been doing a lot of other stuff other than just the boat build. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that people don't see. Alright, so I went on a little bit of a tangent here. My main point is all these extra activities, ordering and research, really help break up the boat build as well. This really helps keep you sane in the long run.
Would we do anything differently? I would invest in an electric longboard sander from the get-go. And an inverter.
Yeah.
Converter. Because they don't make them in the United States and you have to buy a thing just to plug it in and use it. Just saying.
I don't think there's too much I'd do differently. You know? I think we did our due diligence on research and all that. For what we were looking for, being a trailerable boat, I'm quite content with our decision so far.
We'll see. I think we're going to have to answer that question in like a year or two.
What we do differently?
Once it's done.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's stuff we do differently, especially when it comes to like interior layouts and stuff, but we're not there yet,
Yeah.
so I'm not overthinking any of it.
What do we find the most difficult thing about the build so far? Sanding, fairing. It's not difficult, it's just tedious.
It's time consuming. Again, difficult could be a lot of different things, like mentally difficult or motivationally difficult, like, and that's obviously been the fairing process. We've been at it for over a month now, quite a while. I mean, really, we actually started fairing prior
April.
to winter.
True.
It was, I think, late November, December, we had started fairing, and we lost a few months just because of winter weather. I mean, there's not much you can do in the cold. Other than that, you know, difficulty, I mean, it's all relative. You take your time, you do your layouts, you do your numbers, measure twice, cut once.
The next one is from my dad. He said, I saw an earlier video you built a forge to cast your own hardware. Have you done any castings yet?
Oh, the casting.
Oh, the casting. And then he also said, will you be plating them yourself?
Yes, we will be electroplating ourselves. We have played with the casting a little bit, and it will be a video to come. We've had some difficulties.
Yeah.
So we're still working out the bugs and doing a lot of research on that.
We're going to show you all of our mistakes.
Yeah.
It might be a long video.
We're up to like 5 or 6 rounds now, and I think we got most of the bugs out of it. We kind of know what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right. We're getting really close now. But if all goes well, we'll finish the projects we have lined up for the casting, put out a couple of good videos on that, and kind of what we've learned, and go from there. Cost is usually a big question that people ask.
Yeah, Emily.
We're not going to get too much into the cost right now. There's been a lot of, again, purchases that we're 6-8 months out before we're ready. Like, we've already got our captain seats and stuff, and you know, some of this stuff is kind of pricey when you buy it.
Yeah.
As far as materials to this point, If I had to guess, with the wood for the forms and all the foam and the fiberglass and the resin and everything all rolled into one to this point of the build.
Fairing compound.
Yeah, fairing compound, all the tools we've used, we're probably in the vicinity of, say, 18,000 to this point. It does seem like a lot of money, but it's relative to the
Kit?
well, the overall cost, the overall value of the vessel.
Right.
So, again, we're going to get more into this as we go. I am keeping a detailed track of everything, and there's multiple reasons. One, for insurance purposes, when we go to get the boat insured, I'll have receipts for everything. I can hand it to the insurer, and we can get a true value from them, what they'll insure us for. And also, just to kind of answer questions in the end, I do want to kind of get through the build before we delve too much into that. There will be a lot of other big purchases coming. Obviously, motors are going to be one of the most expensive purchases on the list.
It's going to be the most expensive.
Yeah, so...
Electronics, too.
So.
And if you consider the 18,000 in materials compared to what we would have paid for a kit plus shipping,
yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, we're still well below what the kit would cost from...
Or having someone else build the boat for you and then you glue it together.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wanted to build my boat, not assemble it. So,
anything else?
Another question I actually did have, and I kind of had an interesting thought on it, was from
Lady Do.
Lady Do out of Colorado. Check out his YouTube channel. He's building a steel diesel duck.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an awesome vessel when he's done. And he's been back and forth with us for a little while now. But he brought up the question of, why do we do the YouTube channel? And
the first reason was so we could document our build. Like, how cool would it be to look back in like 5-10 years and be like, from literally point A to Z,
yeah,
you got the entire thing documented.
Yeah, when we're gray, because it's happening pretty quick now.
And like, our friends and family wanted to see, so
Exactly.
we kept it going, and then it just kept snowballing.
Yeah.
And now we have a little following of like 700 people.
Yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It does help out the channel. I mean, ultimately, it would be nice if we could get more sponsors and stuff. 1,000 viewers, you can actually monetize and make a few dollars off of YouTube, but it's probably not enough to ever matter to us.
Not for us.
Another big reason, after he asked me that question one night, and you sit there and think about it for a little while, and YouTube's almost a good motivation. It's a very selfish reason, but you have to put a video out next week. You need to create content, and it kind of keeps you moving. And I'm sure without the YouTube channel, I bet we'd be way further behind than we actually are.
Probably. Yeah.
There's been plenty of nights where we just want to sit on the couch and relax after a long day at work, and it's like, no, let's go do something to.
We've got no content.
Yeah.
We got to put something
Yeah,
out.
we need to get something out for a video, and some weeks we scratch, and right now we're kind of slow on content because of all the fairing we've been doing.
It's just boring. Nobody wants to watch fairing and sanding.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over.
But,
and also, it's been hot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, definitely the inspirational factor of the YouTube thing too. You guys commenting, it definitely kind of lights a fire under your butt a little bit and gives you a little bit more inspiration to get back out there. And it really has been a useful tool for us. And as selfish as it sounds, it's true. I mean, inspiration is always a nice thing. Whether we inspire people to build stuff or not build stuff. Hopefully we inspire people to do something out of the box.
Someone did ask, when we did the wheel episode, someone asked if we were going to be doing, like, what the trim would be on the interior. And we are planning on doing walnut trim on pretty much everything.
Yeah, and it seems a little, some people might find that kind of absurd. I mean, walnut's a
Expensive.
fairly expensive wood, hardwood here in the States.
But
I actually had a friend take down a black walnut tree probably about 5 years ago, and I was actually able to acquire some of the planks that were sawn out of that tree. So I have basically a whole flitch of wood downstairs. It's all dry now, and this is just going to be a good place to use it.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? We're going to finish everything, obviously, so it's weather tight and all that, so we won't absorb moisture and rot. Yeah. So we're not going to go the traditional teak. It'll be a darker trim.
Most comparable boat to what we're building that we can find like on the market in the United States is an Aspen C90.
Aspen has asymmetrical hulls, which means one is larger than the other. That helps them accommodate different features on their vessel. Our hulls are symmetrical, so they're equal sizes. I'm sure they have some features we don't. The C90 is actually a 28-foot boat. Ours is going to be between 25 and 26 feet. The outboards will make it almost overall length, probably 27. But again, they are a 28-foot power cat. Why build a boat?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. That's your answer all the time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we covered most of our bases. If you guys have more questions, definitely put them in the comments below. We try to answer all questions pretty timely. Obviously we both have full-time jobs, so some questions may have to wait a couple hours or a day or whatever. But typically we'll get back to you usually within 24 hours. We try to answer all of our comments and questions because we don't have that many subscribers as of yet, so it's still fairly easy to handle.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope. I think that's it.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Anybody that might be interested in building a boat.
And if you watch us and you're not subscribed, why do you watch us? I'm really curious, actually. We found that out yesterday. We have a friend who watches all our videos and isn't subscribed because he doesn't want a YouTube. Hi, Mike. Okay, that's it.
I think that's it. As far as
size,
layout. Thanks. It's okay, buddy.
Nobody coming.
It's the thunder.
Come here.